I now call this meeting to order. At this time, I'm going to ask for our national anthem and our land acknowledgement. And for those of us who can stand for our national anthem, please do so.
The land upon which we work, live, and sustain ourselves is the ancestral and treaty lands of the Michizagig and Anishinaabe, also known today as the Mississaugas of the Credit, the rightful caretakers and title holders of this land. We also recognize the rich pre-contact history and relationships which include the Anishinaabe and the Ongwe Hongwe.
Since European contact, this land continues to be home to Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples. As responsible community members, we value the diversity, dignity, and worth of all people.
Colonialism displaced and dispossessed Indigenous peoples of their ancestral land
and continues to deny their basic human rights, dignities, and freedoms.
We are committed to learning true history to reconcile, make reparations, and fulfill our treaty obligations to the original peoples and our collective responsibilities to the lands, water, animals, and each other for future generations.
Thank you. You may be seated. Okay. Before I ask for approval of the agenda, I just want trustees to know that Trustee Benjamin had requests to be absent tonight because she got stuck in India, and I did approve her absent from tonight's board meetings. So with that said, Trustee Clark, Trustee Cameron, will you move the agenda for me? All those in favor? Carries. Thank you. Any declaration of conflict of interest and anyone known that you have a conflict, please do so. Looking around the table, I don't see none. Trustee Bailey, trustee of. All those in favor? Carries. Thank you. And I'm going to move right down to staff recognition, and I'm going to turn it over to the vice chair at this time.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair Green, and through you. We are pleased to celebrate and honor our retiring staff members. Every month, Peel District School Board recognizes employees who are retiring from their service or they have recently retired. Today, we are delighted to acknowledge our 25 outstanding individuals who are concluding their service with the board, and they are 1 elementary principal, 8 classroom teachers, 6 custodial staff, 5 educational assistants, 4 administrative support. The names and titles of the retirees can be seen on the screen here. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to each retiring staff member for their dedication and service to the board, our students, their families, and the communities. It is through the collective efforts and sincere commitment to our staff that we continue to make a positive and lasting difference in the lives of those who we serve. Your dedication to helping students achieve their full potential is deeply appreciated. We wish you all the very best for a happy retirement. Congratulations and thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Trustee Promoli, Trustee K. McDonald, put it on the floor for me. All those in favor? Carry. Thank you. Tonight, the chair announcements. I have 3 announcements. First one is just a reminder to trustees. The Minister of Education has provided trustee the opportunity to develop our capacity, not just trustee, but directors of education across the province by providing several modules for us to be completed by August 31st. It's not a if and when, it must be completed by August 31st. You would have received an email yesterday from the Ontario School Board Association with urgency. I repeat that, with urgency, that trustee get. There's 6 readable module and there's 4 webinars. Please, I'm going to ask you to complete those, get them done, because I am asking trustees to ensure that you provide all those who have completed it. Please notify the trustee assistant, because I will bring a report to this board at our next board meeting. And trustees at this board table who do not complete those mandatory training, this board will be taking action. The minister have also signaled that there will be actions. We don't know where he's going with that, but this board, we are going to hold each other accountable. All right? So I'm just putting it out there. Please, for those of you who have not completed, you have a few days. Please take the time to complete it. They're good learning, they're good training, and it's help you to do your job better. Thank you. And next, tonight, it's a great opportunity for us here in Peel. We have 2 staff members that will be celebrating tonight. This is a great moment, a remarkable moment for our board. And here tonight we have 2 staff members who have received the King Charles III coronation medals in honor of celebrating Canadians who have gone above and beyond in serving their community. And both Lindell and Thomas truly embodied those spirit. Tonight, let me just start with Mr. King. So for over 30 years, he has been a leader in technology and communication development. Beyond his professional success, he has been a powerful voice for equity, justice, and safer community. Where there is the work, he's also worked as chair of Bonnie Crombie Black Caucus, been a president of Mississauga Safe City, as part of the Peel Community Safety and Well-being System. He's been at various leadership table that has impacted our community right across the Peel. He already been named Mississauga Citizen of the Year and has received the Ontario Medal for Good Citizenship, and now the Coronation Medal joined to the list of medal and accolades that Mr. Lyndon King has received. I want to take this time to congratulate Lyndon and your success. Keep up the good work, my brother. Then I turn to Thomas. Thomas Neal is a teacher librarian at Tribune Drive Public School. For nearly 25 years, Thomas has inspired generation of students by transforming learning space and fostering innovation. He turned the library learning into a hands-on STEM space filled with 3D printers, robotics, equipment, and other tools that ignite creativity, hands-on experiential learning. He also makes sure every student feels seen, thought, protected alike, and he's also a fierce advocate to the board for anything that he needs to ensure that his library stay active, relevant, and engaged that support his students. Tonight, I want to say, Thomas, congratulations to you. And at this time, the director and myself are going to come around to recognize you and for some photo ops. And let me gonna invite my colleague, Mr. Davey, because he's the trustee of a Tribune. Come over.
Yes, it's okay. Okay, this one's on. Okay, I will ask. Okay, there it is. I'm going to ask Lyndon to please come over and be recognized for all the amazing things we heard you do.
So I want to invite her to come and stand beside you, because behind every man is a good woman. Come on.
And now I invite Thomas to come up and trustee for the school, Mr. Davies, to present the certificate. Open, display. It's beautiful. You have to display it like that. Okay. Congratulations.
Trustee Davies and Trustee Cole is moving to the chair report. All those in favor? Carries. Now I'll turn to the director.
Thank you. And through you, Chair, I want to present my oral report for the month of August. Good evening, everyone, and welcome as we begin another new and exciting school year. As we enter year 2 of our multi-year strategic plan, I want to reaffirm our continued commitment to the 4 foundational goals that guide our work: student achievement, safety and well-being, equity and inclusion, and community engagement. I want to express my sincere gratitude to all staff across the Peel District School Board for their passion and commitment. Thank you for everything you do to put students first. I want to begin by sharing the summer school programs this year that offered new, transformative opportunities for students. This year's summer school program welcomed approximately 13,000 students, reflecting a strong commitment to expanded learning opportunities across the system. At Fletcher's Meadow Secondary School, we launched our very first Afrocentric summer school program, a visionary initiative that combines academic rigor with cultural affirmation and Black student empowerment. With a focus on core subjects like English, math, and history, and deeply rooted in African ways of knowing and being, this program is already proving powerful. We also saw innovation in our first Indigenous summer mentorship program, Ohio Good Path, offered in partnership with the University of Toronto, Mississauga. This program blended the Ontario curriculum with Indigenous ways of knowing, land-based learning, and storytelling. While earning a senior university-level English credit, students were encouraged to explore creative expression, identity through art, literature, guest speakers, and field trips, and build relationships with mentors and community partners. In STEM education, Peel students joined the Kindergarten to Industry K2I Academy at York University, a program that paired high school learners with undergraduate mentors, faculty, and graduate students to solve real-world environmental problems and social challenges. Students earned credits in physics or English while building prototypes and developing STEM skills through hands-on work-integrated learning. These programs are just a few examples of how we are providing relevant, responsive, and empowering pathways for students rooted in identity, excellence, and equity. And of course, we know that educator learning is central to student success. Through Learn Forward Peel, our continuing education initiative, we supported over 570 educators through 18 additional qualification courses across 5 sessions. Through these AQ courses, professional development is reaching more educators than ever before, both in Peel and across the province. We've also made it a priority to reduce barriers. By providing subsidies to over 300 teachers, we are making it easier for educators to pursue learning in special education, mathematics, and the new teacher induction program. Looking ahead, we're launching 3 new Afrocentric focused AQ courses and expanding into areas like guidance, co-op, and specialist level qualifications in high demand areas. This work ensures that our staff have the tools they need to create inclusive, high-achieving learning environments. Across every level of our board, we are building momentum. Together, we are creating the conditions for students to realize their ambitions, supported by dedicated educators in safe and affirming spaces and a community that believes in them. I look forward to continuing to work with everyone this year and to everything we will accomplish together. And on a high note, I'm filled with great pride to acknowledge the incredible achievement of Turner Fenton Secondary Schools Rocketry Association, which has more than 100 students as members. Just last week, 5 members of this association competed at Launch Canada 2025 in Timmins, Ontario, and reached a historic milestone. Competing alongside 30 major universities, they became the first high school team ever to successfully launch and recover a competition-level rocket at this event. Their rocket reached an altitude of 10,147 feet and was successfully recovered, an extraordinary accomplishment that has earned them special recognition from Brigadier General Christopher Horner, commander of the 3rd Canadian Space Division of the Royal Canadian Air Force. Their achievement and drive continues to inspire us all as they truly aim high and lift others with them. This evening, we are pleased to have Turner Fenton's principal, Kevin Williams, with us, along with students and families. So I would like to acknowledge student Dhyan Soni, Divyansh Tangudu, Nishargo Saeed, Rudra Patel, Tisya Sharma, Aryan Jha, and Michael Alukel. I'd like to extend my thanks to Principal Kevin Williams and teacher Timothy Shing, who is unable to be present today, And a very special thank you to the students' families for their support in helping their children reach incredible heights. I can't thank all of you enough. At this time, I'd like to play a short video that captures your awe-inspiring achievement.
Many trees in front of us.
Next, pad 3. We have the Turner Fenton High School Team 30 with their rocket named Spectre, flying on an L-1395 to 10,500 feet. This is an orange and black rocket. So the team is indicated good to go. Thumbs up with RSO. And, okay, looking up, we have some blue sky up there. Winds are normal, skies are clear. Turner Fenton. Countdown. It's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition.
A little bit of weathercocking. Right into the sun.
Nice boost on that nice CGI L-1395 blue. We'll wait for confirmation from the team on the status of the rocket.
Sounds like they have a main parachute. They're under main parachute descent speed. So far, so good on the Turner Fenton launch. Do we have it?
Rocket has been sighted. There's a big orange parachute, and the rocket is coming down under main descent rate.
Oh yeah, we've got it.
George should be able to get that for you.
It's right on the screen. We've got it perfectly. That looks beautiful. Look at that thing fall. High school team with a nominal rocket launch like that, that is brilliant.
It's so surreal and so exciting and such a proud moment. And every time we watch this video, it has been very emotional to think of all the effort of our amazing students, teacher, principal, and the support of the families. So at this time, I'd like some of them to step up. I'd like Principal Kevin Williams to come and say a few words, and students Dhyan, Nishargo, and Divyansh. And after that, we'll present the certificates. So over to Principal Kevin Williams.
Good evening, everyone, to our chair and the Board of Trustees, and to our director and associate directors, and to all of the senior team superintendents. I'm giddy and bubbling. It's a wonderful day, and to all the guests that are in the house tonight, and a special recognition to Mr. King and Mr. Thomas, who's not here, as well as the students and parents. A wonderful day today to be recognized for a monumental event by Turner Fenton. Very, very just bubbling with joy today. It's been a great day for Turner Fenton. Do want to say thank you to many behind the scenes people that made this possible, and it really kind of stems back to a vision that students had, and they will be able to express themselves in a few minutes. But I remember working late on a particular day and got a call, a Teams call, and it was from representatives from the innovation team, and they wanted to extend an opportunity for Turner Fenton to participate at Canon in relation to some rocketry opportunities. And it came together very quickly. And I would say from my perspective, that was like the birth of the skies being the limit, as you've seen. Very, very thankful for the opportunity and the investment that this board has offered to Turner Fenton, in particular, students that have a vision and a dream. And want to say how much I'm grateful for the superintendent Superintendent Ford, who was right there supporting us behind the scenes, making sure that the students had this opportunity come to pass. I want to thank you, Director Swarup, for believing in the students and really supporting them, not just with words, but also with your presence. And I think that day that you visited the school really opened the eyes of the students and really showed them how serious and how much you value and believe in them. And so I say thank you to you for coming to the school and supporting us in that way. I also want to say thank you to Director Gill, Associate Director Gill, for the work that you've done behind the scenes. I admire how you stay behind the scenes and just operate. And I want to say openly in front of everyone how much we thank you for making it possible for Turner Fenton to participate in Launch Canada. And to all of you that have encouraged us along the way, the sky is the limit. But my job is to stay out of the way, stay in the background, making sure that what they do is possible, safe, and they have the infrastructure to do it, and then just let them go. And these children are fantastic. And thank you, parents, for trusting Turner Fenton. I'm just bubbling with joy right now. And so I want you to hear from the students, if that's okay, just to give a few words, and you will hear it in their own words in terms of their accomplishments and their appreciation for this board. So thank you. And I invite the rocketry team forward.
First of all, an absolute honor to be here, and thank you guys for your continued support. So I'd like to rewind time a little, about a week in the past, and as you saw, take you back to the moment it all happened. So this was Tuesday morning. It was a real calm and beautiful day. If you guys haven't been to Timmins, I highly recommend it because it's serene. Now, it was beautiful, but we were all really tense because we hadn't launched our rocket yet. The issue was on Monday, we went onto the launch pad, we put the rocket, it was this close to going to launch, but just by minor error, we didn't end up launching, and that saved the rocket. But if you guys have ever felt suspense, multiply it by 10, because the entire night we were waiting for the opportunity to launch. And that opportunity ended up coming, because in just about an hour after 8 a.m., we ended up launching, and we made Canadian history, as has been told a couple of times, but we became the first team to have a fully nominal, so a normal flight. Now, I was thinking about what to say during this speech, during this time, and I was reminded of a quote. It takes years to become an overnight success, and I feel like it's really applicable to this situation, because although Turner Fenton Rocketry has only been operating for about 1.5 years, the journey has taken nearly half a decade. And I want to take you back to grade 7, when I was in grade 7. And during that time, I was making these little water rockets. They're like this tall, and they barely go the height of this room. And that was a start because, again, like the support from PDSB has come full circle, because the first people to encourage me were my grade 7 teachers. So if you're watching, Mr. O'Reilly, Mr. Valance, and Mr. Patel, thank you, because those are the people who first got me into the hobby. And then as I got into high school, I've met some incredible people, and you'll hear from them in just a minute. But they were the people who really enabled us to go a lot further. First of all, we talked about it, but Mr. Sheng, he's our teacher advisor. He has sacrificed so many lunches, so many hours before and after school. Whenever we needed a call, he was ready to go. And he was the person that really made this mission a full success, because without his continued support, we wouldn't be able to do what we just did. In addition, we also want to thank Mr. Williams because, because he is, again, absolutely monumental in making this a success. The moonshot event he alluded to, that was the first time we talked to Launch Canada officials. That was the first time we came in contact with the people at PDSB. And then from there, the growth was exponential. Again, it was difficult to get the ball rolling, but as soon as that happened, it was straight continuous. I also want to thank, and Mr. Williams did most of the job for me, but for, Superintendent Ford for making this all a journey. This journey is successful. You came to our school, you viewed our shop, and that was incredible. Mrs. Swarup for your continued support and dedication. Mr. Mosconi from the EML department as well, because he was one of the first to really support us and vouch for us at PDSB. And then Associate Director Gail as well. Thank you for all the behind the scenes work. But again, without the continued support of PDSB, there was not a chance that we'd be traveling 7.5 hours up north through the middle of absolutely nowhere to launch a 9-foot rocket, right? That just doesn't happen. It's never happened before, but I promise you it will next year. And I also want to thank the team, because this was honestly a dream of mine since grade 7. But without people like this, that whenever I call, 2 in the morning, 6 in the morning, doesn't matter, late nights, early mornings, before and after a test, whenever there was a job that needed to be done, these people got the job done. And there isn't a team like it. So we say the sky's the limit. And again, it isn't just the technology that was amazing. It wasn't just, for example, the amount of innovating that we did. It was the people and how everybody was brought together for a single goal. We're all in high school right now, and we all want to go in different directions. I want to go into engineering. He wants to go into finance. He can explain to that. But we're able to unite over one goal. I feel like that opportunity at the core is what makes this journey truly special, the people behind it. With that being said, I want to pass it off to Nisharg, our chief engineer, who really made this mission fully a success.
Thank you for that, Dion. I'm going to echo a lot of what you just said. I also want to talk a little bit about our journey to Spectre. So TFRA started about in 2023 in December. We were just a group of kids making a little water rocket, but that slowly evolved. You know, initially our achievements may not have been huge, but in that year we were able to develop our identity, and we were able to realize the possibilities that laid ahead of us if we just continued going. Fast forward to last year, we started experimenting with high-powered solid rockets, and our first project was called Vanguard. Overall, it was a very successful rocket, and we learned a lot from it, and we're also very motivated to just go bigger and better. Then came Stallion. It was our first time using onboard electronics on the rocket to collect flight data and as well as deploy parachutes and stuff like that. Stallion was very difficult. We faced challenges and setbacks along the way, but in the end, we were able to overcome them, and we learned an invaluable amount of lessons through that process. It was around that time that we started working on Spectre, the rocket that would eventually fly at Launch Canada. Spectre was a journey of planning, designing, building, working together. It was truly an engineering experience. And like you all saw, the rocket's flight went beautifully, going to almost or over 10,000 feet and Mach 1, which is the speed of sound. So I'm very grateful to have this team, because none of this would have been possible without them, without their hard work, without their dedication towards, like Dion said, this collective goal. So here's to all the long days, the long nights, and the countless hours that have been put into Turner Fenton rocketry. Thank you.
Now, I just want to talk about the people behind Turner Fenton rocketry as well, because in an association like this, which is what we call ourselves, with the Turner Fenton Rocketry Association, I know it's got a nice ring to it. So with the association, it's of course the people involved that what makes up the fate of what it ends up being. And really, we just started off in our first year. I can remember actually in December of 2023 when me and Dion were sitting at lunch in one of our math teacher's rooms, and we were just on a piece of paper writing down what this club would end up looking like. And I remember we did not have really any idea. We knew we were going to do something hardware related, software related, and then have an administration side. But again, I came in with just a little bit of knowledge. Dion, obviously, he came in with knowledge with rockets as well, but that knowledge was yet to be tested in actual application. And so that's what we ended up doing within our first year. As Nishargo mentioned, we did our first water rocket, and it was just a group of 20 people who didn't really know much about what was going on. And the majority of the people on the team, they didn't even know that, going into something rocketry related or aerospace related was something that may have been in the cards for them. Me personally, I wanted to go into finance. I never thought about, going into the aerospace field personally. And a lot of other people on the team can attest to similar stories where they also didn't know what they might go into as well. But rocketry helped guide them towards aerospace overall. Within our second year, we learned from a lot of the mistakes that we had made in our first year, and we grew a membership from 20 people to over 110 people. We even started a education department so that we could teach people the basics of rocketry as well, so that eventually, if they had the interest, they could join our team and they can actually help us build the rockets. And then, as Nishargo mentioned himself, we have built 3 rockets this year. And all of that would not have been possible without the continued dedication that everyone had to, see our hard work actually pay off and go all the way up in the sky and recover it back safely. Now, I would like to leave you guys all with a quote that Dion once told me when we were starting this back in December, and that Dion keeps mentioning every time we reach a setback or a hurdle. Why climb the mountain? Because it's there. So thank you, everyone, for your continued support. And here's to many more, and here's the future of Turner Fenton Rocketry.
Yeah, get the whole team.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you, Principal Kevin Williams. Thank you, Dhyan. Thank you, Nishargo and Divyansh. What an extraordinary accomplishment you have shared with us this evening. And the final part of my oral report will be presentation of certificates. I'll ask Chair Green and Trustee Kathy McDonald, Trustee for Turner Fenton, to please join me at the front. Hello, testing. Okay. All right. So now we would like to present certificates of acknowledgement, and I'll ask Trustee McDonald to present to Kevin. And we will give Teacher Timothy's certificate to you to give to him. All right. Now we have Michael. Come on. We can do it together. Chair Green, you give to Aryan. One more. And next is Tissia. Rudra. Nishargo. Divyansh. And Dhyan. And I'll ask all students to come up for a picture here with the trustees. Yeah. Can we move a little further, that's all? Okay. Come check it. Kevin. I'm good. Getting everything.
Thank you. Congratulations, guys. Trustee B. McDonald and Trustee Jahal is putting the director's report on the table for me. All those in favor? Carries. Thank you. Thank you, Director. And thank you to our students, family, and staff. Number 9, we have one report from external trustees representation. Trustee Cameron.
There we go. Thank you, and through you, Chair, I'd like to share a recent learning opportunity I had. I have shared with the board previously that I represent the Peel District School Board on a Toronto and Region Conservation Authority committee titled Natural Science and Education. All of the GTA school boards have a trustee on this amazing committee. We meet 3 or 4 times a year with outdoor education related topics such as flood risk management around schools, equity of access for outdoor education, passing motions for connecting with the provincial government, more than just the Ministry of Education, and supporting, among many TRCA outdoor education programs, their Girls Can Too program. Not coincidentally, staff in that program have graciously helped over 100 PDSB grade 7 and 8 girls build 8 raised gardens for 3 different elementary schools. Yeah, it's been amazing. Last week on Tuesday, August the 19th, I attended an amazing 50th celebration of the Boyd Archaeological Field School in Pickering. It was a wonderful learning opportunity, one that I'm glad I didn't miss. Invitees included former staff from the school, U of T archaeology department staff, graduates who have come back to help mentor current students, and all trustee committee members. While I was the only trustee to attend, I felt very welcomed and comfortable at this outdoor, hands in the dirt experience. I enjoyed learning from the various groups of students who were engaged in actual archaeological digs. This is a program with a residential component to it. It's a collaborative program involving the TRCA, the Region District School Board, and Durham College. Students earn 2 high school credits. Graduates shared their own stories, giving testimony about their newfound careers in the field of archaeology with jobs at museums, teaching, and research. And any students can apply for this across Ontario. It's not limited to the York region. If anyone in our board encounters a student thinking about studies in the world of archaeology, the Boyd Archaeological Field School may be the perfect place for them. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Trustee Cameron. Trustee Promoli, Trustee Bailey is putting on the floor for me. All those in favor? Carries. Thank you. We're going to move on to 10. The minutes are here from our last board meeting. Trustee Hobbs and Trustee Clark is putting on the floor for me. Question, concern? See none. All those in favor? Carries. Okay. Committee meet, and we're going down to minutes from, okay, so we don't have any other committee meetings, so we're going to go right down to our quarterly report, and I'll turn over to Director Saru.
Thank you, Chair. And through you, I would now ask Associate Director and Chief Operating Officer Jaspal Gill to present the third quarter financial report.
Thank you, Director Saru, and through you, Chair Green. This report provides board's actual expenditures up to May 31st, 2025. In most areas, expenditures are trending close to expectations for this point of the year. Board's overall operating expenditure rates are in line with our benchmark of 75% at this time of the year. The report also includes expenditures and the ministry grant allocations outside of the core education grants, as well as funding for federal and other third-party programs. Controller Natasha Charles and I are happy to respond to any questions.
Thank you, Associate Director Gill. Putting on the floor for me, Trustee Cole and Trustee Davies putting on the floor for me. Question or concerns? Looking around the table. I'm seeing none. Okay, all right. Thank you for that report. All those in favor? Carries. Thank you. We're moving. All right. Number 13. Okay, 14 is trustee and motions for consideration. And 14.1 is of an overnight accommodation. Trustee Davey, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Chair Green. And through you, Chair Green. The motion reads as follows. Whereas the trustees of this board wish to show leadership in reducing cost outside the classroom, and whereas the possibility exists that a trustee could be elected that falls just inside this proximity, therefore be it resolved that no trustee shall accept overnight accommodation if the venue falls within 75 kilometers of the central board office.
Do you have a seconder for that? Trustee Clark is seconding that. Okay. All right. So the motion is on the floor.
May I open debate? Yep.
Okay. You already did, sir?
No, I read the motion.
Yes, you read the motion?
Yes, and I was going to open debate if I could.
Okay. All right. So go ahead, speak to it.
So I bring forth this motion, my colleagues, as a means to demonstrate an understanding of difficult economic times and the pressing need for us to focus our resources on our core priority, our students. While I have never accepted overnight accommodation, despite representing this board at evening and morning events throughout the GTHA, I more than understand my situation and abilities might be different from others. That said, in speaking with some of my colleagues, I am not the only one who feels a few ground rules should be established when it comes to overnight accommodations. When I was handed my first company credit card over 30 years, it came with a simple rule: spend it as if it were your own. I have carried that philosophy into my career in public service, and quite simply, the minor inconvenience of a short drive to me is worth the financial benefit to the students of the Peelschools School Board. Thus, I have put forth this motion to see if there are 6 or more who agree. As always, I will respect the will of this board. Thank you.
Thank you. Speaking to the motion, Trustee B. McBallon.
Thank you. Chair. I was going to kind of point of order and call this motion out of order, but I've decided not to. Why would I've done that is because this motion goes against our policy, expense policy, and hence should have been referenced in the motion and should have come to the governance and policy committee. But that, since the motion's here, let's deal with it today and move on. I will not support this motion. Why? First of all, the Education Act clearly states that trustees should be reimbursed for reasonable expenses. A reasonable expense is a hotel stay. Doesn't matter what industry you're in, everyone's allowed that. But it also goes against our human rights and our medical. So members, if they can't drive at night or have problems like I had when I had my cataracts, would prefer to stay overnight. We do a lot of stuff in winter. You're saying now, because winter comes along and I'm stuck in town with a snowstorm, you're going to have to drive home and your safety. And there's other medical reasons that are inappropriate. I would like to look at the cost of what we're trying to save. So I went on our 2023-2024 expenses. Under the column, there's travel expenses, which are mileage, communication, office, discretionary, professional development, and then there's an ops and training seminar. It's $14,000. But a majority of that money goes to the fees to go to attend those conferences. And that also a list was a conference that was outside the 75. So what we're talking about is a fraction of money in a big $2 billion budget. There is much better places to save money. As a trustee, I'm willing to do that. And as the trustee in his motion mentioned, he decided out of his own free will not to take a hotel. You can do that. I don't spend any money because at the end of my 4 years, where does my money extra go? I put it back in all my schools. And so that's what the discretionary fund is, and it's a suspense fund. Finally, when I was chair of the board and I went to the FES conference in January, it was 2 nights, stay and accommodation. Staying overnight allowed me to reach out and work together with colleagues around the province. I became friends with the 4 chairs of the board, Toronto, Hull, York, and Hamilton, that were a great resource for me as a chair when we were going through trying times of COVID of 2020, if you recall. That is the kind of things that hotels do. It's not like, suddenly you're going to be living it up. It's part of your doing your job, waking up early in the morning and starting that process up again, rather than not getting a good sleep because you got in late, you had to get up early and commute into some meeting that's 75 kilometers away. So in conclusion, I understand we want to cut money. I don't spend money that I don't, but don't restrict it or people that may need a hotel. It's at their discretion if they need it, and say it as such, not be mandated, because it goes against the Education Act, and that won't stand up if we went to a court of law and they'd say a hotel is a reasonable cost of doing business as a trustee. Thank you very much, Chair.
Okay. Speaking to the motion. Trustee Bailey.
Like Trustee McDonald, this is not a motion that I can support. Reason I can't support this motion, again, like Trustee McDonald said, I too have a full-time job. I'm going to give you an example why I cannot support a motion like this. Last fall, I had work. I started very early and I had OPSPA. OPSPA ended at 11 o'clock. I decided I didn't need a hotel. The reason I didn't need a hotel? It was reasonably close because we're at the airport. I decided at 11:30 I could drive home. I should have gotten a hotel. You know why? I was extremely tired. In trying to save the board $100, I almost got into an accident. Is it worth saving $100? No, it's not. I almost left my 2 boys motherless. I can't support a motion like this. For $100? No, it's not worth it. You're putting a cost on a life. It's not worth it.
Speaking to the motion. I see no other speaker to the motion. I personally would have loved to speak, but I'm going to pass tonight. And I'm going to ask the person who put the motion on the table to close.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity, Mr. Chair. I don't know of many hotel rooms that are $100. I've seen $399 a night come through. I've seen lots of opportunities. And again, most of the places that we're staying at are less than 25 kilometers from this board office. And I just find that, I don't know, maybe you shouldn't stay so late at the meeting. I just find it absolutely ridiculous to be requiring overnight accommodation for less than 25 kilometers from the central board office. But I'll respect what my colleagues have to say on this. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. At this point, I'm going to call the vote. Those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those opposed to the motion, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Motion failed. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving to the next motion on the table.
Oh, sorry.
14.2, temperature. Trustee Pomoli, it's yours.
Thank you, Chair. Whereas protocols are established to respond to extreme cold days with school closures for the safety of staff and students, and whereas extreme heat is recognized as a risk to health and a particular risk to health for young children, seniors, and anyone who may have an underlying health concern, and whereas the Ontario Ministry of Labour recognizes 27 degrees Celsius as a maximum acceptable indoor temperature for construction workers, and whereas many PDSB classrooms are without air conditioning or measures to significantly bring down the temperature to a level that may be considered manageable, and whereas PDSB's ability to adjust to the challenges of extreme heat within schools may be limited by existing infrastructure and available resources, and whereas changes in climate patterns have resulted in an increase in high heat days during the school year in the years since many schools were built, therefore be it resolved that the Peel District School Board work with Peel Public Health to establish an upper temperature threshold for extreme heat days and a plan for these days for the safety and well-being of our staff and students. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Pomoli. Do you want to speak further to the
I would
motion?
like to, yes,
Okay,
thank you,
go
Chair.
ahead.
I'm glad to speak to this motion today, and thank you all for taking the time to consider it. Our board already has measures in place to protect the safety and well-being of our staff and students on the rare days that are designated as extreme cold days, and this would allow us to be prepared on days that are extreme in temperature in the other direction. Speaking with families and staff within our own communities, we're all aware of how challenging it is for classrooms when we're dealing with extreme heat conditions, and this has come up often through the years. We also know that our ability to cool classrooms is limited by school infrastructure and financial resources. By June 19th this year, it was clear in the forecast that extreme heat days were expected the following week, and Peel Public Health issued a heat warning on June 20th, advising high temperatures were expected to persist for several days. The region of Peel did experience extreme heat days on Monday, June 23rd, and Tuesday, June 24th, with temperatures including humidex reaching 47 degrees. Visiting schools during this time, it was clear how the heat was affecting staff and students, and I received reports of classrooms hitting temperatures ranging from 31 degrees first thing in the morning to 39 degrees as the day progressed. I heard from my schools that attendance dropped significantly on these days and continued to decline throughout the days as kids went home experiencing ill effects caused by the heat. In the evenings, I received communications from parents further emphasizing how unwell the heat had made their children. For my colleagues at the table, in the interest of time, I won't speak to the research and evidence that I shared previously by email, but we'll be happy to respond at the end to any questions if that's helpful. We all remember hot days at school when we were kids, but the reality is that our climate is changing and we're experiencing more extreme heat than we were in school. PDSB schools have been built at different times over the last 100 years, and infrastructure is not consistent throughout all 262 schools, with some providing more significant challenges for cooling in the face of extreme. Recognizing our mandate to work within our financial constraints and also to prioritize the health and safety of our students and staff, this moment calls for us to understand how extreme heat is affecting our schools and what measures are within our ability to implement. This motion tonight is in alignment with the goals of our multi-year strategic plan, which prioritizes as goals both safety and well-being and community engagement. I have heard from countless members of my community about their concerns regarding heat, and when speaking with many of my colleagues here at the table and members of staff have heard the same experiences. Recognizing that this is a challenge that has become more pressing with time, we have the opportunity tonight as a board representing the concerns of our communities throughout Peel, to move forward with action that responds to those concerns and protects the health, safety, and well-being of Peel students and staff. I ask my colleagues for your support tonight in passing this motion to obtain the support of Peel Public Health in ensuring we're best protecting our staff and students on days with extreme heat. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, speaking to the motion, Trustee Davey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And through you, Mr. Chair, as it stands, this motion looks very good, but we already have 3 key factors in place to prevent what this is trying to prevent. First of all, we have over 140,000 students in our board. Each one has parents and guardians that check weather forecasts and know their child the best and will hold them back on days where they feel that it might be extreme heat. Once they get to school, they also have teachers and staff and principals who monitor the situation right in the school and know what's going on and have the ability to take actions at that point. My other concern with this is Peel region is huge. We can have swinging temperatures from down Mississauga at the lake to the top part of Caledon. There could be a temperature switch of like 7 degrees. And we can't have part of the system shut down, other parts not shut down. And that's what happens when we have a certain temperature that shuts everything down. So those are the 2 things, but the most important one is the director's office. The director's office has the wisdom and knowledge and staff advising when we shut down the schools. And that does happen in the wintertime due to temperatures and things like that. So I just am a little concerned with the ability and that ability to shut down the system to fall outside of the office of the director's office. That's my concern with this. Thank you.
Trustee Kim McDonald.
Thank you. Through the chair. I too, I'd like to echo some of the concerns that my colleague just mentioned, and I will not be supporting this motion because schools are not only a place of learning, it's a safe place for some students, and it's a place where parents who have to work has a safe option to leave their children. And to my recollection, the board has operation procedures, what to do on extreme, be it hot or cold days. I know there are times when it's too hot. I've been to my balanced calendar schools and kids are left inside, even in regular schools, if the temperature is too hot, so the kids aren't let outside. So I know there are protocols and there are already established temperature thresholds. Also, not everybody, not every student in our board has ACs in their air conditioning units in their home. So there are some kids that even if the temperature is hot in the school, it's hot in their home. I think as Trustee Promoli, the move of the motion clearly stated that parents opt to leave their attendance is down and parents would leave their kids at home. So for the parents who are able to and feel that's a better choice for their child, they will do so. But for many, they don't have an option, a safe place to leave their children. I know in schools, they have, for example, if extra fans, there are cooling centers, because some of the buildings, the older buildings, it's cost prohibitive to retrofit an AC into schools. Also, in terms of staff, if staff has medical concerns, I know that within the board, there are procedures for the staff to follow. And again, they are even within different distances, but also just the different orientations of some of the schools on properties. Wind flow can affect opening windows, can affect how hot or different rooms go. So you may even have in some schools where they have like older buildings again, where you have schools that are, no windows, little boxes. But again, from my experience with those situations within my schools that I'm aware of, the children are moved to different areas for learning. So I think that when we are making decisions, we have to look at the entire system and ensure that our decisions is what's best for the entire system. So I will not be supporting that motion. And I had a question, if I may ask the staff, in terms of the current temperature that is used as a threshold on extreme heat days that kids are not allowed outside. I just want to know how was that established?
Okay, I'll ask Associate Director Gill if there's any staff member that is available to answer that question.
So through you, Chair Green, I believe we connect with the Public Health, and they are the ones who advise us about the days when it's extreme hot days. They declare that, and then we inform the system. And then there's the protocols and safety measures which are outlined in the information that we share with the system on those days.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Speaking to the motion, Trustee Alves.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and through you, sir. So I'll just come out and say I am in support of this motion. I think this motion isn't about taking choice away from parents. Parents will always be able to make a final call on what's best for their child, but as a public school system, we have a duty and an obligation to provide clear evidence-based guidelines so that families aren't left guessing. Right now, some families have the flexibility to keep their kids home and others don't. And I think strictly, if not only for an equity perspective, that doesn't sit right with me. That creates inequity. A board-wide standard levels the playing field and gives every parent the same information to make informed decisions. Moreover, on the topic of cold weather precedent, Peel already faces issues when in regards to extreme cold days, snow and ice, and those issues vary from municipality to municipality, whether we're talking about those implications in Caledon, Brampton, or Mississauga, as conditions are not often identical. And I think that the principle has long been established that you can have some nuance when it comes to setting policy. I think it's important for us to remember as a Board of Trustees that the motion before us today is to identify a number, not change a policy or procedure. We're asking partners in Peel Public Health to identify a temperature that would be unsafe for our children to be in classrooms at. I think that's perfectly reasonable. It's a number I would certainly like to know, because as we heard from staff a moment ago, it didn't sound like we had a number offhand that we reference. Now, that said, I know that in employment fields and in different provinces around the country, there are temperatures set for extreme cold and extreme heat and safe working conditions. So I have no problem asking Peel Public Health for some information on what a number would look like. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and back to you.
Speaking to the motion, Trustee Bailey, you have your hands up? Okay.
I will be supporting this motion. The reason I'm supporting this motion is because if you had listened to the news this summer, the temperatures have increased. It is in the news more. At some point, we do have to address this issue. So it's better to get ahead of it rather than we are behind it. So at this point, we are ahead of it. This motion allows us to stay ahead of it and to understand what we can do. What are some of our options? This allows us to start the conversation. This is what this motion is doing. It is not asking us to change our policies, but it's allowing us to start the dialogue. So therefore, I see nothing wrong with starting the dialogue.
Speaking to the motion, Trustee B. McDonald.
Yeah, thank you. We heard the question to staff about extreme weather days, but that's not to go outside. It's not fair to ask the staff, do every school have the appropriate cooling mechanism? I won't ask you, but that should have been something presented tonight for a better informed decision. But I started thinking and hearing conversations that people about shutting down schools, and we'd be sending them home to maybe even hotter situations. So I think there's a compromise here, and because I do like dialogue and planning and conversation and start a conversation, but the way the motion's written, it's saying the upper temperature threshold of extreme heat days. Just take that out and just say establishing a plan for these days. And that plan could be, maybe we need more cooling, maybe we need more fans, maybe we need to figure out what we do as the temperature increase. It doesn't say shut down, but when we start saying upper threshold for extremes, to me that says the plan is to figure out a shutdown.
So
I'd like to put an amendment to the motion.
A friendly amendment?
Well, apparently we're not allowed to use it. But I would like an amendment so we just remove an upper temperature threshold for extreme heat days and just call an establishment for a plan of extreme heat days.
So, Trustee Promoli, would you agree to a friendly amendment?
I'm going to need clarification on the exact wording that Trustee B. McDonald is asking for here.
Okay, it's friendly. If you want to do it, I have no problem.
I would prefer not to change it because
Okay,
this is specific for a reason. When we have extreme cold days.
Then I will do it. So give me a second, Chair.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to change it to establish a plan for extreme heat days for the safety and well-being of both staff and students.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so
do I have a seconder?
That's where I'm going. Okay, is there anyone who would like to second the friendly amendment? Okay, sure.
Thank you for indulging me, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate you allowing me to just get some clarification on process. So after this amendment is seconded, is there an opportunity for conversation about the difference between the amendment that Trustee Brad McDonald is putting up and but can I ask questions of the original motion just to understand the difference?
No.
No.
Okay.
You just have to speak to the amendment.
Understood.
Okay.
Do I have a seconder?
So,
do I have a
Trustee Cameron is seconding it?
I'm sorry, I wanted to clarify that I've got it right. Are you saying that this is changed to establish a plan for extreme heat days for the safety and well-being of our staff and students?
Yes.
That's it? Okay.
You second it?
I would second that.
Okay. All right. Okay. So now we're speaking. Now we're speaking to the amendment.
So can I speak?
Okay. So Trustee Brad McDonald, you asked for the amendment. So go ahead, please.
So what I'm trying to do is not just put a plan. Don't say, temperature upper limit. Let that be figured out in a conversation between Peel and our best people, our staff. They will come back, determine if there's cooling centers in every school. Part of the plan could be more cooling centers, maybe increasing the cooling centers and coming up with a solution. It doesn't describe any kind of solution. It just says talk and come back to us. So I think it's more general, and that's what when you do as a trustee, we're not the experts. Let the experts come back to us what they say. So thank you, and I look forward to hearing any questions or comments on the motion amendment.
Speaking to the amendment, Trustee Alves.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, sir. I want to say to Trustee B. McDonald's amendment, hearing him articulate the difference, I think is very reasonable. I think we're still saying we have a major concern when it comes to high heat, and we're asking, as I understand it, and I'm looking to Trustee B. McDonald to nod, he's nodding. We're pretty much saying we think that we have a problem with extreme heat. Please guide us in this process for establishing what could be a threshold. If they say, hey, you know what? Here's a that would be too high, and that's not necessarily prescriptive for board-wide, but could be on a school-by-school basis for understanding if there are schools that have or don't have cooling methods. Is that my understanding the gist correctly?
If that's a question to me, Chair, may I respond?
Yes, you can go ahead.
So nowhere does it say prescription temperature limits or anything. That's not in the motion. That's why I'm taking it out. Let the experts figure out what needs to be done. The plan then comes back to the board, and then we determine if there's financial, capital, operational things that need to be developed from it.
And thank you, and through you, Chair. So then, to my understanding, we're just removing the ask, I shouldn't say ask, but the mention of a threshold so as to not guide a response?
Correct.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay, Trustee Will Davey.
Again, I still have the concern where we have an outside agency.
Are you speaking to the amendment, Trustee Davey?
I am speaking to the amendment.
Okay.
And I just, from what Associate Director Gill said, we already do talk to Peel Public Health. We observe their extreme heat days, and we have protocols already in place. So I just don't understand. We already have these procedures in place.
Okay. Speaking to the amendment, Trustee K. McDonald.
Yes, thank you. Through you, Chair. I would like to ask through you a question to Associate Director Gill. So my question is, does the Peel District School Board currently have a plan for extreme hot days that takes into account the safety and well-being for staff and students? Through you.
Associate Director Gill.
So through you, Chair Green, yes, there is a plan, and this plan is based on the financial constraints as well as physical limitations that we have in our buildings. Is based on that. There is a more like, I won't say it's a plan, it's more like the guidelines that are given to the schools, that this is what schools can do to help our staff and students to manage those extreme during those extreme heat days. Can we do better? Definitely. I think we can look at the possibility to see, is there anything better we can do? Staff can always look into the possibility of that. But currently, yes, we do have some guidelines.
Thank you. And another question through you, Chair. Do you currently communicate with Peel Public Health with regards to the temperature on extreme hot days?
Through you, Chair Green, it's my understanding that Peel Public Health, they have their own way of establishing the extreme heat days. They have. It's not only the temperature, I believe it's the humidity and the number of days, continuous number of days that it's going to be hot. So based on all that, they are the ones who declare the extreme heat days. Once they do, they let us know. And then, of course, we share that information of guidelines with the schools, what they can do to cope with those days.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Speaking to the amendment. Okay.
Thank you, Chair. So a number of points have been mentioned. I do want to mention that balanced calendar schools were brought up, but the balanced calendar schools are already air conditioned, and that is not the case for the majority of our K-5 or K-8 or 6 to 8 schools throughout the board. So we can't put those in the same category as the majority of our elementary schools throughout the board. There was a suggestion that we leave to parents that they may know best, but often we may not know how hot a child's classroom is when we send them into school in the morning. It's something that I think that it should be considered. Fans and cooling centers were both brought up. Now, I did send research and information through to my colleagues at the table ahead of time, but I did also mention that I'm happy to reiterate some of those points if that's helpful. While schools have designated cooling centers, the office, the library, and sometimes an additional space like the gym or a music room, cooling centers provide a break from the heat for a short period of time for each class, but not manageable temperatures for a full day of learning. Additionally, schools with classes and portables often need to move these classes into the cooling centers entirely, as portables become too hot for use at lower temperatures than classrooms inside the school. With these classes occupying cooling centers as classrooms, these spaces become unavailable for other classes. Important to note, Dr. Glenn Kenny, Director of the Human and Environmental Physiology Unit at the University of Ottawa, whose work focuses on safe temperatures, shares that Cooling centers are effective at temporarily reducing someone's core temperature, but it doesn't remove all the heat from the body. When you go back into the heat, the body quickly experiences a rapid increase in core temperatures to levels observed prior to entering a cooling center. So it may provide a short break, but it doesn't actually provide the relief for a day of learning. On the topic of fans, fans are used to help bring down the temperature. And I want to note that large ceiling fans like those present in the gym at McBride or in the addition at Thomas Street are making a great difference in spaces with ceilings high enough to accommodate them. Where possible, these are a great option. In smaller spaces, fans can really help, though the CDC notes that fans are only useful as a cooling measure up to 90 degrees Fahrenheit or 32.2 degrees Celsius, stating that above that temperature, a fan can increase body temperature. A common sentiment I've heard in my community is that schools are using fans, but when it's this hot, you're just blowing hot air around. So yes, we have measures like fans. Yes, we have cooling centers, and everyone is doing their best. But when it hits 47 degrees with the humidex, that is an extreme heat day, and that is recognized by Peel Public Health, and they did call those days for us. And they gave us all kinds of warnings, all kinds of suggestions about how to stay safe. And everyone did the best that they could in those circumstances. But our schools were hot. And anyone who was in the schools on those days knows what that looked like. And I don't think I have to go into details for anybody. And anyone who heard from parents or from educators that day knows exactly what I'm talking about. So this is not about just regular hot days. It's not about when it's 27 or 30. It's when we're hitting those points when they're literally telling people, stay inside, close all your blinds, turn out the lights, do everything that you can, recognizing that the same way that sometimes it's simply too cold to allow our schools to operate, we've got a problem in the other direction, and it's becoming more serious. And we can't just keep turning away from it and hoping that it's going to be fine. This is serious. So I would like to get an actual number on this because I think this is important. And people are calling for this. It's not just us having this conversation here. We're hearing the conversation growing across the province. We're hearing it about daycare centers. We're hearing it from our partners in education. People are worried about their health, and they're worried about the health of their kids. So this is our opportunity to recognize that this is what our community is asking for, that they're worried about their children. And we have that chance right now to ask our partners at Peel Public Health to help us figure out how we deal with not the regular hot days, but the days that are simply too hot to manage. So that's what this motion is for. And that's why I think it's important that we protect the language in the initial motion and not change it just to hot days. We need to figure out what it looks like when it's at the point where Peel Public Health triggers an extreme heat warning. That's the difference. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, speaking to the amendment. Trustee Cameron.
Thank you. Just on that last point, I would add, it doesn't say hot days. Both of your motions talk about extreme heat days. That's different, right? And I'm supporting both. And I know this sounds a little bit like a chicken, but I'm not. First of all, I really appreciate this, Chair. This is debate, right? This is what we should be doing, and this is what we're doing. So I appreciate that. I would support both because, from my standpoint, what I want to see out of this is the Peel Board staff and Peel Public Health staff get together to talk about extreme heat. And out of that discussion, presumably after Associate Director Gill and his staff hear what we're debating, that would be part of the discussion. Can there be a threshold? Can there be a limit? What would it be? How can we handle that? What's the plan? Which is what Trustee McDonald's motion is. So I'm in favor of both because it gets the parties together. How we get there is going to be up to the 12 of us now moving forward. I wanted to second your motion because I wanted it on the floor. Right? You need to second it to get it here to have that debate. Yes. And hearing it has really helped me conceptualize both of them. And again, for me, it's about two parties get together, two pretty big important parties in the lives of our children and families. I want to say it's 2025, so this is time to do this, right? We're late doing this. This is the year that we're already experiencing. And the reason I support both is, like you, June In September, our phone calls about this heat, and maybe not this September, I don't know the rate we're going, but so I would also say, I don't have any assumptions what that temperature number will be, what it would be established at, but somebody brighter than all of us together here is going to need to figure that out through our associate director's office. This is about, for me, the greater good for the many. Right, this would work. I think if we could get this moving. I want to say congratulations, Trustee Promoli. This is evidence-based, by the way. Right, you didn't just come up with an opinion. This is not anecdotal. I had an example of my kid in school. No, that's not what this is. You have provided the evidence, and we talk about making decisions that are based on evidence. We have the evidence that we should be doing something here. So I just want to say good job on the motion. Good job on the, that's not a referral, amendment. I'm with both of you. Let's go.
Okay, all right. So with that said, I'm going to be turning back to Trustee McDonald to close on the amendments.
Yeah, and thank you, trustees. I appreciate comments on both sides of this. As I said when I started, I wanted to compromise. I didn't want to prescript a limit because I am concerned, just like we've heard the debate, if we say we're closing schools, where do the kids go? To a hotter home that don't have air conditioning? We have to think about our marginalized kids too. So we have to have a solution that sometimes maybe the school you may think is hot, but it is a cooler place. And can we do a better job? Now, if for parents who have air conditioning and have the opportunity to stay home, that's great. But there's many parents that don't. So I think that's why I don't want the prescription of an upper limit. I just want the experts in the room on both sides, our staff who build and support and operate our schools, and Peel Health on the other side, who are the medical people, to come together and come up with a plan. But the reality is we can't air condition every one of our schools. We don't have the money. We couldn't operate with the money if we got air conditioning. So the solution is not shutting schools down, it's not air conditioning, but there's something in between. And I hope we can find it with bigger, brighter minds than ours. And I look forward to seeing how it turns out. Thank you.
Okay, I'm calling the vote on the amendment. Okay, all those in favor of the amendment, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All those opposed to the amendments. 1, 2, 2. So the amendment passed. Okay. So So I'm calling the vote now on the amendment as passed. Okay. All those in favor of the motion on the amendment, raise your hand. No, a motion on the original. If you're supporting the motion, the original motion, including that's with the amendment. That's what I'm calling right now.
Clarification. So I think for trustees are confused. So what just happened is we amended the motion. So right. There's a new motion, my motion, right, on the floor. We didn't pass my motion. We just passed the amendment to the original motion.
Exactly.
So now we're voting, all of us, on this new motion, right, of mine and go forward with staff. Anyway, thank you.
If people want to be read again, we can do that for clarification for people before you vote. But you're just voting on the original motion with the amendment. Right? Okay, that's what you're voting on. All right, so all those in favor of the motion with the amendment, raise your hands. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, those who oppose, raise your hand. 1, motion passed. Thank you. Thank you, Trustee Promoli. Did anybody abstain? I didn't see anybody abstain. No, I didn't see anybody abstain. Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Thank you, trustees. Great debate. That's what I like to see. Okay. All right. Dialogue around the board table. Great. Okay, we're moving down to 15, which is notice of motion. We have none. I'm going to move to adoption of the closed session report. Trustee Chahal, Trustee Cole is moving that for me. All those in favor? Carry. Tonight, we don't have any good news stories. So Trustee Cameron and Trustee Clark is moving adjournment for me. All those in favor? Carry. Thank you and welcome back. Have a good night.